Good morning and welcome to Union Street Arts Cooks. Today we are making a peach cobbler. Some call it a lazy day peach cobbler. It is very simple. It does not require a crust, and you do not have to use some kind of a baking mix such as a Bisquick. So briefly, our mise en place here, we have the baking dish that we're going to use with 1 stick of butter cut into small pieces. 8 peaches. We're looking for about 4 cups. Some ice for the water bath. 1 cup of self-rising flour. 2 cups of white castor sugar divided into 1 cup portions. A cup of heavy milk, and this also has about a half a teaspoon of vanilla in it, as well as about a 1/4 teaspoon of nutmeg, and 1 lemon, which we will use the juice for. So let's go ahead, and we have pre-warmed our oven to 350. So we're going to put the butter in there and let the butter melt. Okay, we have a pot of boiling water over here, or almost boiling water. We'll give it a minute to come back up to temperature. A couple of quarts of water in this Dutch oven. We're just going to bring it right over here like this. Score our peaches on the end, very gently like that, and drop them in the boiling water. So just a cross hatch like that. That helps the skin peel. We're going to let these sit in the boiled water for, a couple of minutes. You'll start to see some changes to the skin, and as the fuzz washes off, and I can almost get all 8 peaches in there. So we're just going to give that a minute, and we can move on to peeling the peaches. So the peaches have been blanching in this boiling water now for about a minute and a half to 2 minutes. And you can see on the peaches themselves where we've made the diagonal or the cross hatch, where that has opened up, and you can kind of see the peel start to come away from the flesh. So at this point in time, all we're going to do is we're going to add this ice in an ice bath to cool that down. And that stops the cooking process, which we don't want cooked peaches. We want peeled peaches. And we'll use that bowl later for our peaches. So we're just going to let that sit until that ice has completely melted. And then we can start skinning the peaches. So the ice is completely melted, so we're going to go ahead and take the peaches out of this. The water's still a little warm. And we're going to put them in this bowl and get this mess out of the way. I have 8 peaches here. We only need 4 cups of prepared fruit, so we will probably have a little extra. That's never a bad thing. You can always make a peach smoothie out of this, maybe with a little adult beverage in it if you choose, or the sweetened diced peaches obviously could go right over a scoop of vanilla ice cream and be lovely. Okay, so our peaches are ready to peel. And I already tested this one, and as you can see, the peel is coming right off. Perfect. So it's just a question now of peeling all the skin off of these peaches. And it won't take hardly any time at all. There's one. Okay, so we have our peaches peeled. And I'm going to go to the oven real quick and take out the butter that is melted. And it's started to cook. I don't want it to brown, I just want it to melt. And it is more than done that. But there's no harm, no foul. We're just going to sit it right there until we finish up. So we have our peaches here. These are wonderful cling-free peaches, so they're going to come right out of their shell. It's a little messy, but that's okay. The music we're listening to today is some traditional Hawaiian. As I said before, these are overripe peaches, which makes them a little easier to skin, and the seed or the pit doesn't want to cling as badly. So that makes them very easy to peel and to get the seed out. And so there we have it. So now we're about ready to go ahead and cut them up and get our base for the cobbler. Let me get rid of this. All right, so we have our peaches here, and we're just going to do a rough chop, something like that. You want to still be able to see that you're eating a peach. And I said before, we need about 4 cups, which we've got more than that. So let your mind go crazy. A lot of people think that peaches are only for sweet stuff, but peaches actually pair really well with a savory dish. So if you're doing a pork loin for supper in the oven, 2 or 3 peaches. Go ahead and peel or not peel, that's your choice. Take the stone out, put them along in the roasting dish with the pork loin. And when all that's done, run your peaches through a sieve or with an immersion blender and blitz all that up in the pan juices, salt, pepper, maybe a little cream, or you might have to tighten it up with a roux, and it makes a wonderful sauce for the roasted pork. And if peaches stay in season, we might have to come back and show you all that. But for right now, it's a typical peach dish, so it will be sweet. So we're going to see, this looks like this might be close to 4 cups already. I could be wrong. And that is 4 cups right there. So we're going to go ahead and gild the lily and just put the rest of those in there. It's not going to hurt it. It's going to make it taste better. So we have 4 cups plus a little extra of fresh peaches. And to that, we're going to add 1 of the 1 cups of sugar. And just sprinkle that over that like so. And we'll put our other peach halves in that bowl right there. And we'll let that macerate while we make the actual cobbler part of the dish. So we're just gonna give this a quick stir, the sugar and the peaches to kind of incorporate that. You don't want to do this too early in the process, because as the sugar and the peaches meld together, it will create liquid, and you want to be careful that your peach mixture isn't too liquid, or then you'll have soggy custard, or soggy cobbler. So you want to do this towards the end. You don't want to do it and let it sit for 2 or 3 hours, or then it'll be too soft and too mushy. So now we're ready for the cobbler part. We have our pan over here with the melted butter. This is a very, very simple recipe, and it's also a simple one to remember, because you have 4 cups of fruit with 1 cup of sugar. And so you reverse that for the other 4 ingredients, and it's self-rising flour, white castor sugar, milk, and butter. So you have 4 ingredients of 1 stick of butter, 1 cup of flour, 1 cup of sugar, 1 cup of milk. So it's a very easy recipe to remember. So just the juice of half a lemon, I'm going to go ahead and put in the peaches. Be careful to keep the seeds out. And again, that is going to make liquid, so you have to be careful how much liquid you actually have. As you can see, it's pretty liquidy already. So very simply, just dump your flour and your sugar and your milk just all together. And then you're just going to whisk it until it's smooth. This is going to be a very, very liquid batter, as you'll see in just a second. There's not a whole lot of whisking to do. You're looking to get rid of the bigger lumps. If there's a few smaller lumps, it's not going to hurt it. But you can see how quickly it turns into a batter. And it is ready for the pan. All right, so we have our batter here. We have our baking dish with the melted butter in it. And it's very simple, it's just a dump. So I'm gonna pour the batter right on top of the melted butter. Just like that. Give our peaches another small stir, and then the peaches are going to go right on top of that. Just try to evenly distribute them as best you can. And there's the product, ready for the oven. Absolutely screams summertime. So we've got our oven at 350 degrees already, preheated. Anytime I bake something like this, I do like to put it in another pan in case it boils over, and also it keeps the bottom from browning too much because you have that extra layer of pan there. So we're baking this at 350, And it will take close to an hour to bake, but we will check it at 50 minutes. So welcome back to Union Street Arts Cooks. We have these few peaches left, and the peach cobbler is still working away in the oven. So let's make a drink. It's pretty simple. So these are the 2 peaches that we have left over. So just boom, right on in there. Again, brighten it up with the juice of half a lemon. And that discourages it from discoloring. I think there might be a seed in there, but the blender will take care of that. 2 tablespoons of sugar. You want a little sweetness, but you don't want it syrupy sweet. About the same amount of ice as you would have in the peaches by volume. And then about 6 ounces of your alcohol of choice. This happens to be bourbon whiskey, which, if you're going for a southern vibe, makes sense. Peaches, whiskey. It already smells good. There still might be a few chunks of ice in that, but we will call it good and pour slowly, and it should be fine. And there you have it, an adult peach smoothie. Lovely, refreshing for a summer day. So the cobbler has been in the 350-degree oven now for approximately 45 minutes. It's beginning to smell up the kitchen. It smells delicious. So we're going to go ahead and check it now. I know I said 50 minutes earlier, but we're going to go ahead and check it at 45 and see what it looks like. And it looks absolutely delicious. Let me pull it a little further. So as you can see, it's bubbling away. It's still not quite done. It still looks like it's plenty juicy. The top's starting to brown nicely. So we are going to give it another 10 minutes and then watch it again. So back in the oven it goes. This is at 45 minutes. Okay, so we checked it at 45 minutes, and about 5 more minutes has passed, so we're going to take a look. It's smelling really good, and yes, it is browned up wonderfully. So at about 50 minutes, we are going to go ahead and take it out of the oven and let you get a look. That is screaming hot, so we can turn our stove off. So it's nice and brown and luscious around the edges. It's done at about 50 minutes. So what we're going to do is just leave it right there. You don't want to dip into that now, because like I said, it is screaming hot. It will burn the top of your roof off. As you can see, it's still bubbling. So we'll give that about 30 minutes to cool. So this is one thing that you could make up and put it in the oven right before you serve your dinner, and go ahead and take the rest of the dinner to the table and have your dinner. And once coffee and things are ready, this should come out, and scoop up ice cream on it. Would be wonderful, but we are actually going to put whipped cream on it today. Just a very loosely whipped cream with sugar and a little vanilla. And I think it, personally, I prefer that, but obviously you could always put ice cream on it if you chose. Okay, so we're back. The cobbler's out of the oven, cooling down. We're gonna go ahead and make the topping. This is about a cup and a half of heavy whipping cream and about a half a teaspoon of vanilla. To that, we're gonna add 2 scant tablespoons of white castor sugar and just go ahead and put it on in there just like that. So we're gonna whip this cream. We are not going to whip it to stiff peaks. We're going to just whip it to a soft peak so it just kind of gently folds over the cobbler when you put it on there. As always, when you're whipping cream, you want to make sure that the bowl is cold and the cream is cold. So this is, the bowl and the cream had been in the freezer for about 10 minutes. It just makes it whip better and quicker. What we're looking for is that consistency that you see when you have a hot cobbler and you say you do put vanilla ice cream on it. Just as the vanilla ice cream slumps and starts to melt, that's the consistency that we're looking for here. So you can see the consistency that we're talking about here. Maybe yogurt or sour cream consistency. Just a little softer than a soft peak. And there we go. And so there's the whipped cream. Our cobbler's still warm. Let me get a spoon and we'll dip it up. Okay, so we're back and let's just go right in. And you can see there, it is still hot, but that's okay. It's not going to burn you at this stage. It smells delicious. We'll put just a nice dollop or 2 of the softly beaten whipped cream. And there you go, have it. An easy, lazy day peach cobbler with a soft whipped cream topping. Enjoy.